Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Guys at Magic. This is Hunter and Shane. Say what up, Shane.
What up, nerds?
We are back. This time, we are taking a look at what Shane did to the Precon deck from Warhammer 40k called Forces of the Imperium. Last time, we took a look at what he did with $100. This time, a little bit more money, 300. So let's start off, Shane. Tell us what you're doing with the commander here for the Forces of the Imperium upgrade.
The commander is staying the same as the 100, my guy. Marneus Calgar is my main man. So Inquisitor Greyfax, very cool, very unique. It's not the commander for me though. So we're going with Marneus, the double striking guy that cares about tokens entering the battlefield, drawing cards. He can create some tokens. He's got it all.
He does have it all. He's got some really mean effects, too. So, without further ado, I guess you just want to jump straight into your additions?
I will. Just bring up the fact that since we are dealing with a $300 list, I'm taking all the inclusions for my 100. So all the things that made tokens, we'll put them on the screen now. That token generating deck is still the base of my 300. So all these cards are going to be added into it. It's still a very mean upgrade. We're just now going to spend even more money and kind of make it more mean, I guess.
Yeah, right on. And if you guys want to see why Shane added all of these cards and the reasoning, go down to the description, see the $100 video. It's right there. Go ahead and take a look. But this is the $300 edition, the sequel, if you will. So, what are we adding to make this deck even meaner?
So it's got the card draw, it's got the draw advantage, it's got everything you really care about with the commander. But now I wanted to add, Hunter knows this, I really enjoy playing stacks. And that's a horrible person to be, I understand, but it's a lot of fun. So we're adding a little bit of a stacks package to this deck. So the first couple things we're going to look at are some creatures that tax your opponents for things. We're going to be throwing in Grand Abolisher, Esper Sentinel, and Draneth Magistrate. All these cards are very mean. Grand Abolisher is 2 white for a 2/2 human cleric. During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. So that guy basically just shuts down your opponents from interacting with you on your turn. So that's great. Esper Sentinel, I'm sure people know about this card. A 1 white for a 1/1 human soldier. Whenever an opponent casts their first non-creature spell each turn, draw a card unless that player plays X, where X is Esper Sentinel's power. So again, we're just going to start taxing the board a little bit, drawing even more cards, which is going to get out of hand very quickly. And then Draneth Magistrate is 1 and a white for 1/3 human wizard. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. So no more commanders for my opponents. And then to keep the train rolling, we're going to throw in Opposition Agent and Silence. Opposition Agent is 2 and a black for a 3/2 human rogue. He's got flash, and it says you control your opponent while they search their libraries. When an opponent is searching their library, they exile each card they find. You may play those cards for as long as they remain exiled. And you may spend mana as if there was any color to cast them. So then you basically just get to search your opponent's library, take the card you want, exile it, and then play it at another time. So I thought that was pretty mean. And then Silence, it's one white for an instant. Your opponents can't cast spells this turn. So if you're trying to set up a turn, you just need one more turn to survive or something. Cast it in for 1. No more casting spells.
Yeah, man. All of these cards I hate. I play against you so often. I feel like I'd never get to play this game.
Well, now just imagine. So we're having this stacks package on top of the Marneus Calgar draw engine. It's gonna be
Yeah,
great.
that's great for you. Not so great for me. You got any other combos in this deck?
Well, I guess I did really have a combo in the 100. But yeah, we're having another combo now. I kind of hinted at it in the 100 list when I brought up like Nadir Kraken, Ashnod's Altar, and Appointed Procession. All those cards kind of do a thing where you can just draw your entire deck. So I thought, hey, if we're gonna be maybe drawing our entire deck, let's just throw in the good old Demonic Consultation, Thassa's Oracle combo because why not? So now that is the one other win con that's in the deck now. So Demonic Consultation is 1 black for an instant. It says name a card. Remove the top 6 cards of your library from the game. Then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal the named card. Put that card in your hand and remove all other cards revealed this way from the game. And then if you do a cool little thing with Thassa's Oracle, 2 blue for a 1/3 Merfolk Wizard. When Thassa's Oracle enters the battlefield, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the devotion to blue. Put up to one of them on top of your library, and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. If X is greater than or equal to the number of cards in your library, you win the game. So that's a cute little thing you can do right there, yeah?
Yeah, I guess you want to call it cute.
I mean, I never really get to play with this, so I said, let's try it.
Let's try it. Let's just win the game with no cards in the deck.
Yeah,
Not bad.
not bad.
Moving on. What is this? I'm looking at some more cool cards.
Yeah, I just wanted to deal with a couple more cool cards that either helped you draw cards, helped you make some tokens. So the first of those is Monastery Mentor. 2 and a white for a 2/2 human monk. He has prowess, and it says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. So when I'm casting anything other than a creature, I'll be proccing him to make a token. And then if my commander's out, I'll be drawing a card. And then all of them have prowess now, so that can get out of hand pretty quickly too, I think. Same goes for Ledger Shredder. It's a 1 and a blue for a 1/3 bird advisor. He's got flying, and whenever a player casts their second spell each turn, Ledger Shredder connives. So you can draw a card, discard a card, and if it's a non-land card, then you get a 1/1 on Ledger Shredder. So he'll just help you churn through your deck even faster. And he'll be getting bigger, and he's a flyer, so flying is
Yeah.
something that this deck is lacking.
For 2 mana, Ledger Shredder might be one of the best cards they've printed in a long time.
Yeah, he is a powerhouse, man.
Yeah, because most of the time, all of your opponents can be casting 2 spells. You're just going to be churning through your deck on
Yep.
everybody's turn.
Yes, sir. And then we got Adeline Resplendent Cathar. They cost 1 and 2 white for a star 4 human knight. They have vigilance. It says their power is equal to the number of creatures you control. Whenever you attack for each opponent, create a 1/1 white human creature token that's tapped and attacking that player or planeswalker they control. So that's kind of cool because now you're probably going to have a ton of tokens with this deck, yeah? So his power is going to be very big. And then he'll make tokens on attack, which will draw you a card. I thought this was just a good fit.
Yeah, it seems like a really good fit.
And then out of the 100, I did cut Exterminus, which was a very big board wipe. So I did want to replace the board wipe with a really good board wipe in the 300 list, and that is Cyclonic Rift, my favorite card as a blue player. 1 and a blue for an instant. Return target non-land permanent you don't control to their owner's hand. Or you can overload them for 6 and a blue. You replace target with each. That just wipes everybody's board. Well, not really wipes, but it makes them pick up everything that's not a land. And it's a huge, huge effect.
You're either super happy when you get this in your hand, or you're super sad if someone's playing it against you.
Very much so. Very much so.
All right, those are really cool. Did you do anything with the lands going forward?
I just did a couple little tweaks, nothing that dramatic. The Precon comes with a lot of lands that either enter the battlefield tapped or lands that, like those check lands. So yeah, I added 2 shocks. I added Watery Grave and Hollowed Fountain that tap for a blue and a black and a white and a blue, respectively. You pay 2 life and they come in untapped.
Yeah, shocks. Some of the best lands in
Sho-
the game.
Shocking, yeah.
Shockingly good. I like those additions, man. They're
I
really
do
cool.
too.
But here's the part that people don't necessarily like all the time. This is to make room for those additions. You had to get some things out. So what did you remove from the deck?
Yep, I know. Well, in talking about the cuts, the very first thing I got to mention is all the cards that were cut in the 100 are still going to be cut. So we'll kind of just flash these up. And a lot of these cards were cut for the purpose of just they weren't on theme of what I was trying to do. They either didn't make tokens or they were just kind of clunky or they were just really expensive. So all those cards out of the 100 still getting cut. So now we can move over to my 300 edition. They'll need new cards to get cut to make room for them.
Yeah, all those are getting still cut from the 100. And once again, if you guys want to see why Shane cut all of these cards from the $100 list, link in the description down below. But This is the 300. Once again, tell us what we're removing from the 300.
All right. Well, the first group, they like these first two, they kind of help your opponent. I know they help you as well, but they help your opponent, and I just cut them out of that for that reason. We're getting rid of Cybernetica, Datasmith, and Naam Shai Marad. Both these cards help your opponent, like I said. Cybernetica is a blue and a black for a 0/1 artificer, and he like basically lets you make a token, but then also have somebody else draw a card. Either you can draw the card, somebody else can. Either way, either someone's getting a token or someone's drawing a card. Didn't really like that. Cut it out of there. Diam is 2 white and a black for a 3/3 human rogue, and when they deal combat damage to a player, basically you can let a player take a permanent back from their graveyard, and if they do, then you get to pick one from your graveyard, put it back on the battlefield. They put it in their hands, but either way, you're helping your opponent, and I just didn't think it was that all that good of an effect, especially because we're dealing with a lot of tokens.
Yeah, something really interesting about the cybernetics datasmith protection from robots, which is weird because if you look it up, robots are only from Infinity and the new Transformer cards.
Well, I think what that is from that's probably because if you choose to give your opponents a 4/4 robot, then he can just be blocked by this. So it's like if I give my opponent a token, but I don't know. Seems weird.
Yeah, but other than that, like it's just a very, very small subgroup of things that don't really
Yeah.
exist.
Yeah, I don't know. But moving on, we got a couple more things to cut on this group. These are just big mana costs. All right, so we're gonna get rid of Calidus Assassin and Celestine the Living Saint. Both of these cards are very expensive. The Assassin is 6 mana and Celestine is 5. The Assassin, 4, a blue and a black, for a 3/3 with flash. When he's the battlefield, he'll make a copy of something. He'll come in tapped, and it's basically going to kill the thing that you copied. So you can just copy your opponent's biggest thing and then kill it. So I mean that's pretty cool, but it was a pretty big card, and I wanted to make room for my stacks effect. Same thing goes for the Living Saint, 4 and a white for a 3/4 flying lifelink. At the beginning of your end step, return target creature card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X is the amount of life you gain this turn. So besides this card, this deck really doesn't gain life. So unless I'm constantly swinging, connecting with 3, I'll get something for 3 or less. That's cool, but this deck does not gain life. So I cut it.
Yeah, both those cards a little higher on the mana curve too, so
Yep.
got them gone. What
This is
else
the
are we getting
credit.
rid of?
All right. This next group, Epistolary Librarian is 2, a white and a blue. For a 3/4, a Startis wizard. This guy, whenever he attacks, you may cast a spell with mana value X or less from your hand without paying its mana cost, where X is the number of attacking creatures. That does seem like a pretty relevant effect with having so many tokens, but in playtesting, I could never really get this guy to fire. And then if I did, like, what am I casting really? So I cut him. I didn't think it was relevant. And sadly, in the 300, to make room, we are cutting Inquisitor Greyfax, the other commander. 1, a white, a blue, black, for a 3/3 human Inquisitor. They got Vigilance, and other creatures you control get +1/+0 with and have Vigilance. And they also have pay 1, tap target creature and opponent controls, investigate. So it's relevant, but what my process was, Marneus Calgar makes 2/2s with Vigilance. So most of my tokens I'm dealing with already have Vigilance. I guess it's nicer they get the one buff, but like it just kind of felt a little redundant, and I needed to make room, so I cut her. This next one is Sister Hospitaller, 4, a white and a black for a 3/2 human cleric. It says whenever they enter the battlefield, return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. You gain life equal to its mana value. So I guess there's my mana, or there's my life gain. But it's a pretty expensive effect for, again, we're dealing with a lot of tokens on our deck. So you can't bring back tokens from the graveyard. So I
Yeah,
cut
just
it.
a one simple effect only does it one time
Yep. Unless I flicker it, which I don't have the ability to flicker in this deck.
for
So
6 mana and a 3/2 body. It's
yeah,
just it makes sense.
it seemed like a precon ad to me.
Yeah. Sad to see the Inquisitor go, but I totally
Sad.
understand as well.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, we're gonna cut out a couple of these bigger artifacts. The the vehicle package that was in here, we're just going to cut out. I left them in the 100, but they're going to be cut now. So Reaver Titan and Thunderhawk Gunship. Reaver Titan is a 7 mana 10/10 with protection from mana value 3 or less. And whenever he attacks, it deals 5 damage to each opponent. And he has a crew of 4. So it did seem like a pretty cool card. I think I was pretty stoked on it in the very beginning. It does have protection from a lot of removal. But again, I was just going to focus more on the tokens and not worry about crewing a 10/10, which could be cool. If you don't like that cut, keep it in. I can see where people might want to keep it in. But I was cutting it out of my list. Same thing goes for the Thunderhawk Gunship. This card looked cool, but I was just staying away from anything that didn't just like care about creating tokens and then attacking with the tokens. So it's a 6 mana 6/6 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, create 2 white Astartes warriors with vigilance, and when he attacks creatures you control, gain flying till end of turn. Crew of 2. Seemed very cool. He makes more Astartes warriors, which the commander already kind of does. That ability was a little bit redundant. So you could do the whole thing where you attack with your entire team, make them big, but that just wasn't the route I was going down. So again, if you wanted to keep these in your deck, maybe just take out 2 of my other additions and then just keep these, but I cut them out of my deck.
Yeah, they're a bit expensive.
But I could see them. There's an argument for them. So at your discretion.
Okay, so those are the crude vehicles that you're removing. Are we removing any enchantments?
Yeah, I'm just gonna cut just 2 enchantments that I didn't think I really wanted. Birth of the Imperium and Defenders of Humanity. Birth of the Imperium is a saga. It's 2, a white, a blue, a black. First lore counter. Create a 2/2 white Astartes creature with vigilance for each opponent you have. So that's would net you some tokens. Each opponent sacrifices a creature, a little bit of removal, and then you get to draw 2 cards for each opponent who controls fewer creatures than you. So I guess the thought here is that you're making the token, you're having your opponent sack the creatures. By the third, you'll have the most creatures. But in these games nowadays, man, people can play more than one spell a turn, rebuild their board, and you probably won't draw the 2 cards unless I don't know. I just didn't think that like the first 2 modes are kind of cool, but the third one, the payoff, it's whatever. And then Defenders of Humanity is X2 and a white for an enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create X/2/2 Astartes warrior creature tokens with vigilance. And then again, you can pay X2 and a white. Exile Defenders of Humanity. Create X/2/2 white Astartes warrior creature tokens with vigilance. Activate only if you control no creatures and only during your turn. So it was kind of cool. I guess you can, dump in X, get a bunch of guys, and then when your board gets wiped, do it again. So that's cool. I just have better ways of making a bunch of tokens. I didn't need this card.
Yeah, I can see why those are being removed out of the deck. The stuff you put in it is way better. Mo Beta. Speaking of Mo Beta, you made better lands. What lands are we taking out in
Yep.
replace?
Like I said, I got rid of ones that came in tapped or cared about checking, and I got rid of the checks. So Port Town and Choked Estuary. Both these cards need you to reveal a plains or an island or a swamp. There might be time where you don't have those in your hand, and they'll come in tapped. We don't like that, so that's why they were replaced with shocks.
Coming in tapped, and you're kind of sad.
Yep,
But yeah, is that it?
that is it. That is my 300. I think for the way I want to play it, it checked all the boxes.
Okay, so let me ask you a question here. We were given $300. What is your total?
With my $100 I spent on the 100 list, since we kept all those cards, I spent an additional $202. So the total is going to be about $302 for combining both these decks.
All right, I'll give it to you. Just a
Thank
little
you.
over.
Thank
Give
you.
you $2. But yeah, so you have any final thoughts about this deck as a whole before we wrap up?
Yeah, this deck's going to be super mean. Uh, I think if you play this deck, you need to really worry about getting Marneus and protecting him. Definitely don't sleep on him and leave him in your command zone for the half the game. Definitely get him out there and get him churning through your deck. And once you do that, this deck is going to just go off.
Cool, man. I'm very excited to play and when we do our $300 Precon battle.
Sir.
But that is going to do it for us. Again, if you guys wanted to check out this entire deck list, go to the description, check out that Moxfield link. And if you wanted to check out Shane's $100 list of Forces of the Imperium, also down in the description down below. While you're down there, go ahead and hit that like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. You guys need to subscribe because you're going to be missing out on all the cool content if you don't. Uh, in the description, you'll also find a link to our Instagram, our Twitter, and our TikTok. Go ahead and follow us on all of those as well. Also, if you wanted to leave a comment down below telling Shane if he did a good job, or if you don't like any of the changes he made, also you can say that too.
That's okay.
And until the next video, hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Peace.
Bye-bye.